What's up, everyone? Welcome to Target Focused Life. My name's Steve, and today is a 2-for-1. 2 shotguns, 1 review. It's the Mossberg SA20, Mossberg SA410, 20 gauge, compact model, the SA410 and 410, a turkey gun. So we're gonna go ahead, talk about the differences, put them to the test, see what we think, give you the feedback, and we're gonna have some fun. So if you're ready for the SA20 and 410 review, let's go! So why do 2 guns in 1 review? Well, we debated it. They're both Mossberg SA line guns. This one a 20 gauge, this one a 410. We debated, should we do 2 separate videos? We couldn't figure it out, so we put out a poll on Instagram story. Over 60%, or around 60%, I don't know where it ended up, said that we should put them in the same review, so we're gonna try it. Let us know what you think below of combining reviews like this. I don't know what I think yet, but we'll figure it out together. Oh, and hey, by the way, if you wanna take place in future Instagram polls, follow Target Focused Life on Instagram. Okay. So we have the 410 and the 20 gauge. 20 gauge is this compact model, very short. I'm gonna have a lot of trouble shooting it. I might get my son out here. And then we have the 410 turkey gun. Looking at the specs right off the bat on these guns, we've already talked about the gauges, but price point, $721, a very affordable semi-auto shotgun in this 20 gauge. But then we jump to the 410 turkey and the MSRP is $902. So quite a bit more for this turkey gun. We'll talk about why here in a minute. Now the Mossberg line of SA shotguns are all sub gauge. When it comes to their field model, they offer 20, 28, and 410 options. So you have some good flexibility there. There's turkey models with a few different gauge options as well. There's turkey with a pistol grip. I like this turkey gun because it doesn't have a pistol grip. It has these sights on here, so if you need to aim the shotgun at a turkey, you can do so. But you can easily take them off by loosening these screws, which are already loose, I see. And then you have just a regular shotgun that can be used for clays or anything else. I love turkey hunting with the 410. It's a great viable option, especially when you combine it with great ammo like the Federal TSS. My son's killed turkeys. I've killed turkeys with this, drops them in their tracks. We have the SA410 tipping the scale at 5 pounds, 15.6 ounces. I used to look at manufacturers' websites, but most of the time they are incorrect. 5 pounds, 15.7 ounces. That's what we got. Of course, we got a little different barrel length. This has a shorter barrel, even though it's a bigger bore, has a shorter stock. So that's probably why it accounts for about the same weight. If our dimensions were the exact same, I think this 20 gauge would definitely be heavier. As far as length of pull, the turkey gun here, which is in the full-size model, comes in at 14.25 inches. And I believe the compact comes in at 12.5 inches. Yeah, 12.5 inches. So this would be great for a real small framed person. A kid like my 11-year-old son could probably shoot this pretty well. So moving on, triggers. Let's look at the triggers when it comes to specs. Fairly light trigger. That actually feels pretty good. 7 pounds, 11 ounces, a little more than 7 pounds. 8 pounds, 3.7 ounces. 7 pounds, 6.8 ounces. We averaged 7 pounds, 12 ounces or so. Think the 20 gauge is much different? I think it certainly could be. Feels heavier already. Yeah, a little more pre-travel to it, just off of feel anyways. 7 pounds, 7.5 ounces, so really close. We'll do one more pull. 7 pounds, 1.6 ounces. So 7 pounds, 4 ounces on a couple pulls there. Not terrible for a gun at this price point. Definitely not light triggers, but we wouldn't expect that. They felt okay. Moving into ergonomics, the look, the form, the function. Real quickly with the 20 gauge, we got a composite stock, checkering on the fore end and grip, very narrow grip. The trigger guard is average. We got some venting on the front here for the gas system. These are gas operated shotguns. Recoil pad, I wish there was something a little more there. Just a hard rubber pad. Could definitely put a Falcon strike on that. Crossbolt safety on the back side of the trigger. Bolt release. You're gonna have some trouble pushing that if you don't got strong fingers. You know, that's the trouble with some of these guns, especially that are made for kids or smaller people, is, I mean, you gotta have some strong fingers to do that. Slightly milled out here at the front of the loading port going into the receiver. The edges are maybe slightly beveled, but they're not real sharp, but they're beveled a little bit. Single bead, brass bead on the front, flat rib coming straight off the receiver, vented rib. Looking at the SA410, it does have a different butt pad on it. It looks quite a bit different. Same checkering. This one is dipped in bottomland camo. Also a different bolt handle. I like this bolt handle much more than the other one. If you look at that, just really easy to take in and out, pull back, where it's more of that traditional style. Bolt release, however, is the same on this gun. To lock the bolt back, you have to press this in right here, the back side of the loading port, and then the bolt locks back. Otherwise, pretty much everything is the same on this shotgun. It is drilled in tap. This 20 gauge is not drilled in tap. Loading port on this one is milled out quite a bit more. Probably because it's a 410 that's hard to get your fingers into. It does have swivel studs. 20 gauge did not have swivel studs. So yeah, quite a few differences actually. I really love the way this 410 feels in my hands. It's just a super light gun. I love shooting 410s. Full size gun. This 20 gauge, the way it feels in the hands, it's hard to say. It's such a short gun. I won't be able to even mount it well. I mean, you can see if I were to shoot this gun with my thumb around, I'm gonna smash my thumb. So if I shoot a gun like this, I go like this. Not at all ideal. But I actually got this gun for my son, for him to have another 20 gauge compact option to shoot. I do help a lot of youth shoot as well, and I wanted this as an option on top of some of the other guns that I have. The SA20 comes with 5 flush mount choke tubes. However, the turkey gun just comes with an extra full choke tube, which should be fun to shoot clays with from close distances today. But you could also get aftermarket chokes, get some Carlsons. I do have a link, by the way, in the description along with the discount code, so you can definitely check that out. Let's dive into the recoil reliability, starting with this 20 gauge. I'm anticipating fairly light recoil, but let's see here once. It is a 20 gauge, not a ton of recoil. It doesn't fit me well, so it's hard to gauge a little bit, but it feels real comfortable. What a pain to get your fingers into. That's the only thing I don't like about 20 gauge semi-autos. I don't even have huge thumbs like Jerry Michalik, and it's tough to get in there. From the hip. Oops. Come on, SA20, why can't you shoot from the hip? There we go. This is a new gun, hasn't really been shot. I did clean it, lubricate it really well. Barely shoots from the hip, but it does. It does shoot. Shoots nicely. Feels solid, just for an experiment. Yeah, I knew it went cycle over the head. Not that uncommon on 20 gauges, not a big deal. But recoil-wise, yeah, it feels moderately decent. I like it. I'd like it better if it fit me. When it comes to the 410, well, we know it's not gonna have heavy recoil, right? Little 410 shells like this. Let's see how it is to load. Oh, that's kind of a pain. That's a small little receiver you're trying to get your finger in. You go to load that. Now it is milled out, like I said, but still small. I love shooting 410s. I love it so much. I want to shoot a clay. Extra full choke. Look at that, just crush that clay. Woo! Over the head, full, extra full choke, 410. This is a sweet shooting gun. Obviously way more excited about the 410 than the 20 gauge. Oh, we didn't try anything from the hip on the 410. Now, I do not like that bolt release. I will say that. It's just too hard to hit. Loading's a little bit of a pain, but will this shoot from the hip? It really kicks them out of there well. Do you see that? Just flung them out. We had a little loading issue. Since 410 is so cheap, I'll just shoot it a little bit more. Ready? Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Recoil, moderate on both these guns. They are sub gauges, so recoil is not a huge thing, but it handles it really well. Reliability, I think they're kind of middle of the road reliability, just from what I've seen here a little bit. I don't anticipate you having big issues. This 410 I'm falling in love with real quick. The 20 gauge, it's a lower dollar 20 gauge. It's not any worse than I would have expected for a gun at this price point. So let's move on and break these guns down real quick, just see what we're working with. I don't want to spend much time on this. Maybe we'll just break one of them down. Fore end off. Here's our piston. We'll put that into the cylinder of the hot barrel. To get the bolt handle out, you have to get it in just the right spot. There's like a crescent shaped cutout in the bolt that has to be lined up perfectly, and then it comes right out. But then we can take the bolt out. Now this breaks apart into several pieces. You have the bolt that runs all the way up to this piece. That all breaks apart. That's pretty dirty though. Look how dirty that is. We don't have that many rounds through it. Pop that one pin out, trigger group, had to work it forward for it to come out. That's what we're working with. So breakdown, moderately easy. Things go back together pretty well. I cleaned these guns last night, put our pin back in with this whole bolt group. Make sure this piece goes on first. You can't really get it on well once the bolt is slid into the receiver. There we go. Okay, and just like when we took it apart, we got to line the top part of the bolt slides, line it up until everything's perfect. It's in. Okay, all right, there we go. When I slide the barrel on, I make sure the piston is in the cylinder. Usually just goes on better on really all makes and models that are gas operated. Yeah, we won't worry about taking apart the 20 gauge. It's the exact same thing, to be honest with you. But before we get into shooting some off the machines here, I'm gonna go ahead and take these sights off because they really don't help me when it comes to shooting clays. Hey, you know what? Before I do that, I got some 410 heavyweight TSS from Federal 9-shot. Drops turkeys dead in their tracks. I love this stuff. Let's just see how this shoots. I have a steel plate right over there at about, 30 yards. Now, being that our sights are loose, who knows where we're gonna hit, but let's see if we can hit that steel plate. That's a dead turkey. I wouldn't hesitate to shoot 30 yards with this. That's the cool thing. Turkey hunting can be a punishing thing. 12 gauge shotgun, 3.5-inch Magnum loads, turkey loads. They stink to shoot, especially for youth, for anybody really. Right here, yes, they're expensive, but they're awesome and they're well worth it. To be able to crush a turkey, drop it in its tracks, not have to have a heavy gun, not have to have heavy recoil, I love TSS. I'm gonna forego speed shooting for a couple reasons. One, this 20 gauge, the SA20, is way too short for me. That will be miserable. The 410 has an extra full choke. Shooting clays at very close distances with an extra full choke in 410 will also be miserable. So I'm just gonna play around, shoot some clays here. That shoots nice. I like that gun. Let's see if we can hit a crosser. Coming from left to right. Look at that. Good little shooter. I like that. I'd like it a lot better if it fit me. The 410. Let's be honest, this is what I've been wanting to do all review long. Shoot more of this 410. You know, for my son, he would love this. I should go get him. Extra full choke, extra light recoil. There we go. That's fun. There's something about shooting a 410. Almost no recoil. It's like shooting a 22, busting clays out of the air, capable of taking down a turkey. Just a lot of versatility. Kids, adults, anybody can shoot it. So I had to go to the house, get Rylan here so he can test out these guns, give us his feedback. Rylan, I'm not gonna tell you what these guns are, what gauge they are.
Oh.
Ooh, smoking it. What'd you think?
Not a lot of recoil. From my gun, it sounded maybe a bit quieter or just different.
The sound was different.
Yeah.
That's one dynamic I've never really looked at. How loud was it? Try another shot. See if you're really good with it or if you got lucky.
I think I'm just good.
Light recoil though?
Yeah, light recoil.
Here you heard it from a young lad. Now this gun's a little bit longer, so it's gonna fit you a little bit different, but I want you to try to shoot the clay, see what you think.
Pull. That has a lot of no, not a lot of a little recoil.
A lot of little recoil.
A lot of little.
Did you like it?
Yeah. Pull.
There you go.
There. I can get used to it.
What'd you say about recoil here?
It is so very light.
Very light recoil. That's a 410. And you thought the 20 gauge was light recoil too, didn't you?
Yeah.
But not compared to that
compared to that. No.
Right. Well, thanks for coming out and shooting with us.
Yeah, it was fun.
So there you have it. Not only did you get my feedback, but you got some from a young boy that doesn't have a ton of experience shooting, but has been shooting 20 gauges, much like this compact shotgun. Said this was light recoiling shotgun, and he liked it, was able to hit clays right off the bat with it. Now, this has the shorter stock, remember, compact, but he was able to manage this 410 in a longer version because it was so light. He shot it relatively well as you could expect for an extra full choke, but he was blown away. It was funny to see his face. He just turns around, woo! Phenomenal gun. I'm gonna say my verdict, well, my first verdict is doing a review on two guns at the same time, I don't prefer it. Let me know what you think, how you thought the video went. This was just kind of an experiment. My head was all over the place. I felt so random. But for the money, really good shooting guns, great options. Semi-auto gas guns are always a great option for lower recoil. This 410 is definitely a gun I'm gonna be shooting more of. I'm gonna order up a Carlson's. This gun is Carlson's approved. What does that mean? That means that this gun is one that I'd like to keep around and shoot a whole lot more. So I'm gonna order some Carlson's and get some not extra full chokes in there. Might even shoot a turkey with this in the upcoming turkey seasons. That is a look at the Mossberg SA lineup, or at least a couple of them, with the 20 gauge compact and the turkey model. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, whether you're in the field or in life, you're only gonna hit those shots you're laser focused on. So live target focused. See ya.